Farai Manganda. I am a resident here. I live in town. I'm also a businessman who runs businesses here in the city. After the city council got into a marriage with a private player called TTI to introduce what they call a new parking system in the city, I personally felt the pain, first as an individual, because I live here. I found myself excluded from the decisions they had made. They never considered that there were people living in town who needed to park. I happened to have vehicles and I didn't know where to put the vehicles now because the area where I live was already demarcated. The second thing is, as a businessman, I also felt this was a challenge. This new system was a challenge to my business. My shops are situated along Jason Moyo, along 5th Street, and along George Silundika. These three places have already rolled out the new parking system. And I've seen a drop of over 60% in our sales. This is the truth that anyone who wants proof can come forward. We have seen a decline that was drastic, and we can only give a reason as this new parking as the reason. So I realized that this was a challenge. The first thing I did was to go to our city fathers. I have been to the city hall. I went to look for the mayor. I went to look for the town clerk. I also went to look for the development officer of the city. I have managed only to do a meeting with the development officer. The town clerk did not allow me. He kept saying, we will schedule, but nothing was happening. The mayor, I even booked up with the secretary, not once, more than once, but nothing happened. And when I had a meeting with the development officer, out of that discussion, I then realized there was something else that was needed to be done. He highlighted to me that he was defending his office from the city council perspective. And as the development officer of the city, I asked him why he was not also considering the business because it's part of development. So he then acknowledged that he had been one-sided in his approach. But he also said people have been fragmented in their approach. People are coming in as individuals to talk about this parking issue. So when he said that, I realized that there was a need to then talk to my fellow business people, to talk to my fellow residential tenants in town. And probably, because I'm a motorist, talk to my other motorists in town. So we could come up with a collective voice to tell them that this parking system is expensive. So the first thing was, it's expensive for me. But when I looked closely also at the contract they had signed, there were certain things I didn't understand. According to me, I was never consulted as a businessman, which means a lot of other people might have also not been consulted. So as I was listening to the other business people as I was engaging, all the people said we never were consulted. We were never consulted on this issue. Then I realized that we had a problem. It means if this tender sailed through and was just implemented without anyone contributing to this tender, it needed to be revisited and probably reviewed. So we are coming together as business people, as motorists, as residential tenants who live in town, who have been excluded from the planning, to say we also want to contribute to this city. No one ever said they don't want to pay for parking. For as long as I've lived here for more than 2 decades. And I've never seen a day where parking was free. So I know, because according to me, I would pay $34 at the revenue hall for a quarterly disc that's valued for 3 months, which is 90 days. And that quarterly disc is the same disc they scraped off with the new system. So when they scraped it off, their new system now demands that I pay $9 a day, which is $810 US for the same period of 90 days. That's ridiculous. Yes. I did not understand that. I personally said this is wrong, because no one has ever gotten an increase in their income at that rate, because their rate is 2,400% increase. It's ridiculous. I did not understand that. So I tried to engage them, and now I had to seek the other opinions of the other motorists, the other tenants who live in town, the other business people, and collectively we have come to say this parking system is very expensive.